Do you know the law but still lose marks? Are your answers technically right but still don't click with the examiner? Let's uncover the hidden mistakes that most CA Inter students make and how you can avoid them. Hello future CAs, welcome back to my channel, your one-stop guide for everything related to CA exams. If you are new here, I am Pooja, a chartered accountant, and I have an experience of working for Ernst& Young and KPMG. And I help CA aspirants like you succeed with practical tips, strategies, and support. So today we are diving into a very important topic, the most commonly committed answer writing errors by students in past CA Inter exams, especially in the subject corporate and other laws. So we'll not just list the mistakes, but we'll also back up each one of them with realistic examples from law you study, like Companies Act, Limited Liability Partnership Act, FEMA, interpretation of statutes, and much more. So watch this video till the end because one small fix can mean big marks. Also guys, if you are new to my channel, I request you all to subscribe and hit the bell icon below so that you can get notified whenever I post new videos. Also do stay with me till the end because I will be sharing some bonus tips at the end of the video. So guys, when you visit my channel, in the playlist section, you can see there is a separate playlist for CA Inter exams. So in this playlist, you can find different type of study plan, subject specific guidance and much more videos. And there is also a playlist for CA GPT for students. In this playlist, I have made different videos in which I have shown as to how you can use CA GPT while preparing for your exams. So do visit my channel and watch these videos. And there are various other playlists as well which might be helpful for you. So the first common mistake to avoid is avoid generalized answer and refer to the exact provisions of the act. So it was noticed that most students make mistake like writing general answers. Suppose you just write that every company must file some documents with the ROC. So statement like this are generalized statements. So this does not mention any provision of the act. So instead the better answer would be as per section 92 of the Companies Act 2013. Every company shall prepare an annual return in form MGT7 and file it with the registrar within 60 days from the date of the AGM. So like this you have to write the section number and you have to write the name of the form and within how many days it has to be filed. So this will refer to the exact provision. So use the correct section number if you remember it. Just writing vague terms like some document should be avoided. You must correctly mention as to what document is required. Just writing some documents with ROC and without mentioning which section and also without mentioning the due date. So if you do these type of error, there are chances that you will lose marks. So the next error to be avoided is writing only in diagram format. So the answer should not be written in flowchart format. Legible and proper English should be used in your answer. So use clear English to communicate your answer. So if there is a question on different types of company and if you just write in a diagram form, it will not be that appealing. So how to write it correctly? So you can write as follows. Like company can be classified as private and public as per section 2 subsection 68 and section 2 subsection 71 of the Companies Act 2013. So this will be more appealing as you will be mentioning the section and subsection number as well. The third mistake to be avoided is no WhatsApp or SMS language. So do not write like LLP needs to file documents because ROC needs them. So this, because if you see here, this is a WhatsApp or SMS language. So you have to write clearly. Like as per the LLP Act 2008, every LLP is required to file prescribed documents with the registrar for compliance and transparency. So always maintain professional tone. Remember, you are getting trained to become a chartered accountant. The next fourth mistake to be avoided is abbreviation. So if you are using any abbreviations anywhere, it is very important to define the abbreviation correctly. So suppose in your answer you are using OPC. So first you have to write as to what is OPC. So in case you are writing OPC, in the first line you can write in bracket one person company, and then in on you can use the same abbreviation everywhere. So first just write as one person company in bracket OPC. As per section 262 of the Companies Act, is a company with only one person as its member. So if you are using a abbreviation first time, define, then use it appropriately everywhere. Is sometimes students write the wrong section number. So do not write wrong section number. Write the section number only if you are 100% confident. Because quoting wrong section numbers can lead to loss of marks. While on the other hand, if you write the correct section number, it will enhance your answers and there are chances that you will get more marks for that. Since there is stepwise marking, for each steps mark will be allocated. Hence, if you quote the right section numbers, you will get marks for that. So do not write like section 141 is for auditors, I think, or something like that. So if this is wrong and you are not sure about it, do not write it. So if you are unsure about the section number, what you can do is you can start your answers as per the provisions of Companies Act 2013 or as per the provisions of the Limited Liability Partnership Act 2008 and so on. So you can just write as per the provisions of the Companies Act 2013, only chartered accountants in practice can be appointed as statutory auditors. So do not write the wrong section numbers. Quoting the wrong section number will lead to negative impression. So just write as per the provisions of so and so act if you are unsure about the section numbers. The next point to be kept in mind is you have to use legal language, plus there should be conceptual clarity in your answer. However, this doesn't mean that you have to rote learn the entire textbook. So do not mug up the entire textbook. Use the language of law, but make it your own language. Like for example, you can write as a company may remove an auditor before expiry of his term under section 141 by passing a special resolution and obtaining the prior approval from the central government. So ensure the language is professional, it is correct, crisp, and also law should be mentioned in your answer. The next point to be kept in mind while answering corporate law is you can mention the case laws. So if you mention the case law, it will add more weightage to your answer. So for case laws, go through your entire study material. Apart from that, in the student journal edition also, if there are any new case laws, those will appear in the student journal. So go through that also. And apart from that, the amendments which have been made up till 6 months before your exam will be applicable for your exam. So if your study material is not up to that date, and if any further amendments has been released, that will also be available in the BOS knowledge portal itself. So ensure you go through those amendments also, because if in those amendments any case law is there, there are chances that question might be asked relating to those case law. So if you quote those case law in your answer, you will get marks for those. For example, if you are writing interpretation of statutes, if you write the case law, that is State of Karnataka versus Ranganatha Reddy, in case you use the case law like this, it will add more weightage to your answer. So you can write as held in the state of Karnataka versus Ranganatha Reddy. When words are clear and unambiguous, literal rule of interpretation must be applied. So learn a few key judgments and use them wherever applicable. The next point to be kept in mind is ensure that your answers are as per the marks allotted to the question. So do not write 2 pages for 1 mark question or do not write just 2 lines for 4 mark question. These both approaches are wrong. For example, if there is any 3 mark question on FEMA, you can write as under section 3 of the Foreign Exchange Management Act 1999, no person shall deal in or transfer any foreign exchange except with general or special permission of RBI. So you can start the answer like this and then you can continue with your answer. Ensure that you are to the point, yet your answer should be complete, precise, because your time is valuable. And in case you waste your time writing long answers for just 1 mark question, then when there are 4 mark question, you will not have time to write those questions. So if there is any 4 mark question, write at least 4 points under that. So depending on the marks, how much the question is allocated, you will have to decide as to how many points you will be writing. Next point to be kept in mind is make smart assumptions where needed. Suppose, for example, if the question states a company has not filed its financial statements for the last 3 years, can it be struck off? So in this case, we have to make an assumption. So assume whether the notice was served or not. Say for example, assuming the ROC has issued notice under section 248, the company may be struck off due to the default in filing the financials for 3 consecutive years. So in this case, you are stating that the company may be struck off and you are also making an assumption that the ROC has issued notice. So state this assumption clearly in your answer. So ensure you state the assumption and answer accordingly. There will be marks allocated for assumptions also. So if there is any ambiguity in the question, you can make your assumption, make the relevant assumption and state it correctly. The next point to be kept in mind is understand the verbs in the question. So we have to see what the question is asking and we have to answer accordingly. For example, if the question is saying as define, that means you have to state the meaning. If the question is starting with the word enumerate, then you have to list with brief explanation. Or if the question is stating as explain, then you have to provide detailed reasoning. And if the question is stating analyze, you have to break down the points given in the question and you have to interpret based on the provisions of the laws. So many a times it was noticed that students mix these up and either overwrite or underwrite the answer. So ensure you analyze the question correctly first as to what the question is asking and then answer the question. The next important point while reading law is be careful with the terms and the term or, because these two terms are important for interpreting law. So for example, there is this provision. Every LLP must appoint a partner who is a resident in India and a designated partner. So if you misread and here as or, you may assume that any partner is fine. However, here as per the law, the partner should be resident in India and he should also be designated partner. So here and means both the conditions must be satisfied by the law. So here instead of and if we interpret or, we might assume that even if one condition is satisfied, it's sufficient. So in interpretation of statutes, this is fundamental. So and means all condition must be met and or means if any one condition is met, that is sufficient. So we have to be very careful with these terms. So now let's see some bonus tip. So before writing the exam, ensure you practice writing the ICI past year questions, model test papers and mock test papers. And when you write this, after you finish writing your mock test papers, compare your answers with the suggested answers. And at that time you have to check, did I write the right provisions? Did I mention the case law wherever relevant? And did I explain or just state? So you have to ensure you have written the right provision, you have quoted the case law, and whatever the question asked, depending on the verb in the question, you have answered the question correctly. So this reflection can boost your score just by 10-15 marks. So ensure you follow all these points. So these were the most common mistakes CA Inter students make while writing the corporate and other law exam. If you avoid these, you will not just write better, but you will also score higher because ICAI checks for clarity, accuracy, and professionalism in every line. So, guys, if this video helped you, do like this video and also share it with your friends. And of course, don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell icon for more exam smart content that helps you become a CA. All the best for your preparation. Write like a professional and think like a CA. I will see you all in the next video.